"Sir, can you buy my dad's retired police dog?" What the officer did next changed everything. The snow fell in thick, heavy flakes across the streets of Chicago, blanketing the city in white silence. It was 3 days before Christmas, and the temperature had dropped to a brutal 15 degrees. Captain Ryan Mitchell pulled his military camouflage jacket tighter as he walked through Lincoln Park, his breath forming clouds in the frigid air. Ryan was home on leave from his third deployment overseas. At 36, he'd spent 15 years in the Army, including tours in Iraq and Afghanistan as a K-9 handler. He'd worked with military dogs his entire career: Belgian Malinois, German Shepherds, Dutch Shepherds, dogs trained to detect explosives, track enemies, and save lives. Those dogs had been his brothers in arms, his family when he was thousands of miles from home. But Ryan had never owned a dog of his own. His life had been too transient, too unpredictable. Now, after being medically discharged following an injury that ended his military career, he was trying to figure out what came next. The transition to civilian life had been harder than any combat mission. He felt lost, purposeless, like a soldier without a war. As he walked past the ornate iron fence that bordered the park, something caught his eye that made him stop dead in his tracks. Huddled against the fence, trying to shield herself from the biting wind, was a young girl, maybe 12 or 13 years old. She wore a thin brown sweater that was far too light for this weather, and her dark hair was dusted with snow. But what grabbed Ryan's attention wasn't the girl. It was the dog, a German Shepherd, magnificent, with the classic black and tan coloring, sat pressed against the girl's side, trying to share what little warmth his body could provide. The dog's eyes were alert, intelligent, and Ryan recognized immediately that this was no ordinary pet. This was a trained working dog. Around the girl's neck hung a piece of cardboard with writing in black marker, $5 for sale. Ryan's heart clenched. A working dog being sold on the street for $5? Something was terribly wrong. He approached slowly, not wanting to startle them. The German Shepherd's ears perked up, tracking Ryan's movement, but the dog didn't bark or show aggression, another sign of professional training. "Hey there," Ryan said gently, kneeling down to the girl's level. "Are you okay? It's freezing out here." The girl looked up, and Ryan saw that her face was red from cold, her lips tinged with blue, but her eyes, dark brown and fierce, showed determination, not defeat. "I'm okay, sir," she said, her voice shaking from the cold. Are you interested in buying a dog?" Ryan glanced at the German Shepherd, who was now watching him with those intelligent eyes, assessing him the way military dogs assessed potential threats or allies. "What's your name?" Ryan asked. Sarah Coleman. "I'm Ryan Mitchell." He gestured to the dog. "And who's this?" "This is Rex," Sarah said, and her voice cracked with emotion. "He was my dad's partner. My dad was a police officer, Officer James Coleman. He worked K-9 unit for 8 years. Rex was his dog." Ryan's chest tightened. "Was?" Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "My dad died 6 months ago. He was killed in the line of duty. A traffic stop went bad and she couldn't finish." "I'm so sorry," Ryan said quietly. He knew that pain, had lost brothers in combat, had attended too many funerals, had folded too many flags. "After Dad died, the department retired Rex," Sarah continued. "They said he was too old to retrain with a new handler. He's 9 years old, so they let us keep him. He's been with us ever since, but—" Her voice dropped to a whisper. "We can't afford him anymore." Ryan's jaw clenched. "What do you mean you can't afford him?" The words came tumbling out, a story Ryan had heard too many times. After her father's death, Sarah's mother had fallen apart. The police department provided some death benefits, but not enough. Medical bills from her father's final hospitalization had piled up. Her mother had started drinking to cope with the grief. They'd lost their house, moved into a tiny apartment. Money was so tight they could barely afford food. "Rex eats a lot," Sarah said, tears streaming down her frozen cheeks. "And Mom says we can't keep him. She says we have to get rid of him. I tried to find him a good home, I really did. But nobody wants an old police dog. Everyone wants puppies." She buried her face in Rex's fur. "I can't take him to a shelter. They'll put him down because he's old. He deserves better than that. My dad loved him. Rex saved my dad's life 3 times. He pulled Dad out of a burning car once. He protected Dad from an armed robbery suspect. Her voice broke. He was there when Dad died. He tried to protect him. Ryan felt something crack inside his chest, the wall he'd built around his heart to survive war, to survive loss, to survive the loneliness of military life. He looked at Rex. The German shepherd was watching him with those wise, sad eyes. This dog had served. This dog had protected. This dog had lost his partner and was now being abandoned by the family that partner had left behind. "Sarah," Ryan said carefully. "Where's your mother now?" "At work. She works 2 jobs. Morning shift at a diner, evening shift cleaning offices. She doesn't know I'm here. She told me to take Rex to the shelter today, but I couldn't. I just couldn't." Fresh tears fell, so I thought if I could sell him, at least I'd know he went to someone. At least I could tell Mom I found him a home. Ryan sat back on his heels, snow collecting on his shoulders. $5. This girl was trying to sell her father's retired police dog, an animal who'd served the community, who'd saved lives, for $5, just to make sure he didn't die in a shelter. "Sarah, I need you to be honest with me." "Does Rex have any health problems? Any aggression issues?" "No, sir, he's healthy. The vet said he's got years left in him. And he's the gentlest dog. He's great with kids. I have a little brother, and Rex watches him like a hawk. He's house-trained, obedience-trained, everything. He's perfect. It's just..." She started crying again. "We can't keep him." Ryan made a decision that would change his life. "Okay," he said. "I'll take him." Sarah's head snapped up, hope blazing in her eyes. "Really? You will?" "Yeah, I will." Ryan pulled out his wallet, and Sarah's face fell when she saw he was taking out money. "Sir, it's only $5. That's all I'm asking." Ryan looked at this brave young girl who was trying to save her father's dog in the only way she knew how. He thought about all the military dogs he'd worked with, all the handlers who'd died and left their partners behind. He thought about honor, duty, and the promises we make to those who serve. "Sarah, Rex isn't worth $5, Ryan said firmly. "A dog like Rex. A dog who served the community, who saved lives, who was your father's partner. That dog is priceless." He pulled out $200, nearly all the cash he had on him. "This is for you and your family," Ryan said, pressing the bills into Sarah's trembling hand. "For groceries, for bills, for whatever you need. And I'm taking Rex, but not because I'm buying him. I'm taking him because it's my honor to care for a retired service dog. It's what your father would have wanted." Sarah stared at the money, then at Ryan, then burst into tears. "I can't take this. It's too much. I was only asking for $5. Your father served this city. Rex served this city. You don't sell a hero for $5, Sarah. You honor him." Ryan's voice was thick with emotion, and part of honoring Rex is making sure his family is taken care of too. He knelt down and extended his hand to Rex. The German shepherd sniffed it carefully then, in a gesture that made Ryan's eyes sting with tears. Rex licked his hand and leaned forward, pressing his head against Ryan's chest. It was a gesture of trust, of acceptance, of a new partnership beginning. "He likes you," Sarah whispered. "He never does that with strangers." "I'm a K9 handler," Ryan explained. "Military. I've worked with dogs like Rex my whole career. He knows. Dogs always know." Ryan stood and looked at Sarah seriously. "I need your address. I'm going to talk to your mother, and I'm going to make sure you're all okay. A police officer's family shouldn't be struggling like this. There are resources, programs, benefits you might not know about. I'm going to help you access them." Sarah wrote her address on a piece of paper with shaking hands. "My mom. She's proud. She might not accept help." "Then I'll convince her," Ryan said firmly. "Your father was a hero. Heroes' families don't get left behind. Not on my watch." That evening, Ryan showed up at the Coleman apartment with Rex, a bag of groceries, and a folder full of information he'd spent the afternoon gathering. Survivor benefits, police widows support programs, job training opportunities, counseling services, Sarah's mother, Jennifer Coleman, opened the door. She was younger than Ryan expected, maybe 35, but she looked exhausted, defeated, like life had beaten her down. "Mrs. Coleman, my name is Ryan Mitchell. I'm a retired Army K-9 handler, and I met your daughter today. She was trying to find a home for Rex." Jennifer's face crumbled. "Oh God, Sarah, what did you do?" "Mom, I couldn't take him to the shelter, I couldn't." "It's okay," Ryan said quickly. "I'm here to take Rex, but I'm also here to talk to you about resources available to you as a police widow. Ma'am, with respect, I don't think you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to." What followed was a 3-hour conversation. Ryan learned that Jennifer had been so overwhelmed by grief and bills that she'd never properly navigated the system. She'd missed application deadlines, didn't know about certain programs, had been too proud to ask for help from her late husband's police department. Ryan made phone calls. He contacted his own network, veteran support groups, military family services, even a lawyer friend who specialized in survivor benefits. By the end of the evening, Jennifer had appointments set up, applications started, and a pathway forward. "Why are you doing this?" Jennifer asked, tears streaming down her face. "You don't even know us." "Because I know what it's like to serve," Ryan said simply. "And I know that when someone serves, their family serves too. Your husband gave his life protecting this city. The least I can do is make sure his family is taken care of and his partner has a good home." He looked at Rex, who sat calmly beside him, and honestly, ma'am, Rex is going to save my life just as much as I'm saving his. I came home from war lost, with no purpose. This dog just gave me one. 3 months later, Ryan and Rex were inseparable. The German Shepherd had adapted to his new home with remarkable ease, and Ryan had discovered that caring for Rex gave him the structure and purpose he'd been missing since leaving the military. But Ryan did more than just adopt Rex. He started a non-profit organization called Fallen Heroes K-9 Legacy, dedicated to helping families of fallen police, officers, and military personnel who had K-9 partners. The organization helped with veterinary costs, food, and rehoming if necessary, but always with dignity, always with honor, always ensuring these service dogs spent their retirement years in loving homes. Sarah and her family were doing better. Jennifer had gotten the full survivor benefits she was entitled to, had enrolled in a job training program, and had stopped drinking. They'd moved into a better apartment. Sarah was back to being a normal kid, doing well in school, making friends, looking forward to the future instead of just surviving day to day. And every Sunday, Ryan brought Rex to visit the Coleman family. The dog's tail would wag like crazy when he saw Sarah, and she'd hug him and tell him stories about her week. It was healing for all of them, a connection to the husband and father they'd lost, but also a symbol of hope and new beginnings. One Sunday, Jennifer pulled Ryan aside. "I need to tell you something," she said. "That day Sarah met you in the park. I'd given her money to take Rex to the shelter. I told her to drop him off and come home, but she couldn't do it. She took that money and made that sign instead, hoping someone good would find him." Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. "If you hadn't come along, if you hadn't seen him, Rex would have frozen to death that night, or Sarah would have. She wasn't going to leave him. She was going to stay there until someone took him, no matter how long it took." Ryan felt his throat tighten. "She's a brave kid. She's her father's daughter," Jennifer said. "And you're the answer to a prayer I didn't even know I was praying. You didn't just save Rex, you saved our whole family." "Rex saved me too," Ryan said honestly. "I was drowning when I met him. I didn't have a purpose anymore. Now I do." He looked at Rex, who was playing gentle tug-of-war with Sarah's little brother. Dogs like Rex spend their whole lives serving. They protect us, save us, stand beside us in our darkest moments. The least we can do is make sure their retirement years are filled with love and dignity. A year later, Ryan's nonprofit had helped place 37 retired police and military K-9s in loving homes. He'd assisted dozens of families of fallen officers and soldiers in accessing benefits they didn't know existed. His story, and Sarah's story, and Rex's story, had been featured in national news, inspiring others across the country to honor service dogs and their families. On the anniversary of Officer James Coleman's death, the Chicago Police Department held a memorial service. Ryan attended with Rex, who wore a special vest, honoring his years of service. Sarah gave a speech about her father, about Rex, and about the stranger who'd changed their lives. My dad always said that the best people are the ones who help when they don't have to, Sarah told the assembled crowd of officers and families. Captain Mitchell didn't have to stop that day in the park. He could have walked by like everyone else did. But he stopped. He saw my dad's partner, and he honored that service. He saw my family struggling, and he helped us. She looked at Ryan, her eyes bright. My dad would have been proud to know Rex found a home with someone like you, sir. Thank you for giving him the retirement he deserved. Thank you for giving my family hope when we didn't have any left. The police chief presented Ryan with a special commendation. But the moment that meant the most came after the ceremony, when an older officer approached Ryan with tears in his eyes. I served with Jim Coleman, the officer said. He was my partner before he moved to K9 unit. He was the best of us. The officer looked at Rex. I'm so glad his dog found you. Jim would have liked you. You're a good man. Rex lived to be 14. A long, happy life for a German shepherd. He spent his final years sleeping on Ryan's couch, playing with Sarah when she visited, and occasionally showing glimpses of his old training when Ryan would practice commands with him. When Rex finally passed peacefully in his sleep, Ryan buried him with full honors in a pet cemetery that had a special section for service animals. The headstone read, Rex, K9 officer, partner to James Coleman, loyal, brave, loved. Sarah, now 17 and planning to attend college to become a veterinarian, stood beside Ryan at the funeral. Thank you, she said quietly, for giving him 5 more years, for making them good years. Thank you, Ryan replied, for trusting me with him. Rex changed my life. He gave me a purpose when I needed one. He taught me that service doesn't end when you retire. It just takes a different form. Years later, Ryan would tell people that the best decision he ever made was stopping to talk to a young girl selling her father's retired police dog in a snowstorm. That single moment of compassion had rippled outward, changing not just his life and the Coleman family's life, but the lives of dozens of retired service dogs and their families. Because that's what heroes do, both the 2-legged and 4-legged kind. They serve, they protect, they stand beside us in our darkest moments, and when their service is done, they deserve to be honored, loved, and remembered. Rex had been all those things, and so had the young girl brave enough to try to save him, and the soldier compassionate enough to help them both. The end.